on YouTube, our Instagram. I got some stuff I have to do, and I said when I got back from taking my dog for a walk, I would do it, right? First things first, I got to shout out the gangs. Lyona, local 1059, Render. Got my high vis on because I got a nice coat was in my car and it was raining, and I said it in my story. I got work to do, and hopefully get it before these guys wake up. But I said I like to go live, so and post on my YouTube. I feel like it's makes me feel good, so that's all that really matters, right? So I'm gonna talk about I guess it would be like a three-way topic, right? Like creative marketing, creative deals, creative financing, right? But we're gonna wrap this up quickly. Remember, anytime anybody sees this and they have some questions to ask me about it, feel free to hit me in the DMs. If you're on my Facebook, you'll see I'll post this video on Facebook. That's my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do whatever you want to do. If you want, appreciate it. If not, cool. Thank you anyway for watching. So this is like I feel like to share this especially, right? Because like when I started off, right, like I do only own a duplex, right? Which, if I compare myself to other people, it's not much. But compared to me and where I was when I started, it's crazy, right? So, like I was saying, the reason why I feel this is crucial to share with people is because I did this, got this duplex, purchased a duplex with no money, no credit, and in debt, right? So I wanted something. I read some books, I did what the book said, and I met some people, and I did what they suggested, guided me to do. I found 7, now 8 other houses I could have potentially purchased, but I didn't. I sold the lead. That got me out of debt, right? To build my credit, fix my credit, and then in order to get a mortgage, my mortgage broker said, hey, pay this debt and I'll get you a mortgage, right? But, so, to the beginning, deal. Everybody's like, there's a trifecta in this shit, right? Money or financing, people, renovation and work, and lawyers and accountants and people that rent, the whole thing, and deal, right? I fortunately started by learning the deal, right? Because Matt and another mortgage guy I met said, look, buddy, it doesn't matter what your credit score is, doesn't matter what your job is, if you find a deal, you'll get the place, right? At the time I didn't know what that meant, but it took me about 8 months, but I persistently kept going, right? So what worked for me and can work for you too, right, is door knocking or making your own flyers, photocopying them at the library and putting them in mailboxes, right? Either or, that could work for you, right? It worked for me, right? So door knocking worked for me, especially because, like I said, I had no money, right? I think I was on ODSP. So I was like, when my mentor, friend, shout out Captain Giertzke. Oh yeah, I also got to shout out the Ontario House Buyer, right? Geertz Capital Investments. My people down. Find deals, right? Like, so that's what they told me. They said, if you find the deal, doesn't matter your credit, doesn't matter anything, these things, right? So, but then it's still quite a gap to having nothing to being able to purchase the thing, right? So door knocking worked for me, so I call that creative deal finding, right? So let's go. So let's say this is my first day, and it's all on my YouTube channel. My first door I knocked on, the first script I ever wrote, to what I'm gonna say when I knock on the door, right? I've actually been sharing the information with a friend of mine that I've known for a long time that we ended up meeting up in London. So whole thing, like if he becomes successful in his own mind or in his own way or whatever, that would mean the world to me, right? Okay. So you're door knocking. You're looking for your first deal, okay? They open the door. Now, you don't want to be like... So what I usually do is I usually put my foot like up on the staff. Do a little, like a non-threatening gesture, right? Because these days you never know who's at your door, right? And for me, it's generally worked like, if you're gonna drop the line the second after the door, like, hi, my name's Michael. I'm pretty new to London, been here through the thick of the pandemic, haven't talked to a lot of people, I'm hoping I got a couple goals that I hope to conclude when I'm doing this. It's either make some friends and get into a network and maybe some people that I could spend some time with because I work a lot and I need to take downtime. And I'm also looking to see, have you heard of anybody who might be potentially selling their house soon, right? So you're either gonna get two answers from that, right? They're gonna say, oh no, I don't know anybody, right? And in that circumstance, I pitched them, like, oh, okay, well, can I give you my number for later in case you hear of anybody? I'll just pass on the information. That'd be great, right? You'd be helping out a lot. Sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no, right? That's one aspect. Second aspect is, oh, well, Jimmy Joe Willikers over there is a guy, he's got a lot of yahoos, and them scary looking people running in and out of the back door all night and chaos and the police and all kinds, and I do know the landlord, I know he's sick of it, and he can't get them out, right? But so as they're explaining this story, you look, you see what's in the back of their house, right? Or going on in their house, right? If you see right there, you see a lot of clutter or whatever, mass, maybe a hoarder house, whatever the case, right? I've found 2 hoarder houses now. First deal and 9th deal, hoarder houses. You try to keep your eyes peeled, right? Like, so let's say you see a set of golf clubs. When they're done doing their spiel, they're like, oh, so, right? Because you want to keep them talking, right? Because if they say no one shut the door, that's the conversation's ended. But if you can keep them talking, as they're talking to you about their golf clubs that you've asked them about, I've golfed for 30 years, I was in this club, as that they're still thinking about, their subconscious mind is still hopefully thinking about the question you asked them. So you're keeping in contact with them, right? And then maybe they'll think of something, maybe not, right? And if you do have a good conversation, and you can, right, like, it's not good to assume. However, if you see somebody's living in a place that's hoarded in, right, like, and it's a mess, sooner, like, they have a problem on their hands, and you have a solution, right? Because sooner or later, one day, somebody's gonna sick of it, or some family member's gonna come along and say, hey, this is enough, you can't do this anymore, we're taking you to this place, you're getting out of this place, right? So, you can help those people out, right? But it all starts with having a conversation. A great way to have a conversation to get the person that's in the house that you've knocked on the door talking is by asking something that you can see in the house while they're talking to you, right? Just remember, the goal is to get them talking, right? For me, and this is what I was telling my friend that I'm trying to teach, you're going to, you're like, it's cold calling especially, but door knocking too, like, you knock on the door, you start to talk, the second you see them stop paying attention and losing interest and say no and shut the door, take mental note, and then the next time you do it, chuck that piece, right? Like, say what you're saying and then say something different right then, or try something else completely different, right? And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, the more confidence you'll build, the more you'll believe in yourself, because if you can affirm, consistently write down or auto-suggest, say the same thing over and over and over again, you will start to believe it. Believe it, you can achieve it, you can see it, right? So that's how, like, finding creative deals work for me, right? Now, the creative, so that, I guess that'd be marketing and deals, right? Because it's creative, because who do you know that's just gonna go and door knock? Well, I know a bunch of people, and I know where they are today and where they started 10 years ago, and they started door knocking, and today they are very, 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 very successful, right? It's just when you're in sales, you gotta be a people's person. Throwing yourself in an uncomfortable position and knocking on somebody's door and asking them about their house, it's a great way to get over your confidence, build your people skills, and become a salesman, right? For me, it's like, I was always a salesman, but I went through some shit and I had to get back to myself. Potentially, and door knocking did that for me, right? I made a quote on Facebook, door knocking saved my life, right? Because it did it. So thank you. So now the creative financing, right? Right now we're at a time And it's gonna get worse, and you know, the prices are still gonna go down, right? Like, they're not bottomed out yet. And they're pretty much the same as what they were before they shot up 30%, right? They're back down to what they were before that. And I'd imagine they'll go down a little bit more as interest rates goes up, right? So a lot of times, you can find one of these people in, let's say, a hoarder house or property that's distressed, or you know, they've got a family member that died and they don't even want nothing to do with that old house. It's not a new fancy house like people want. That's all no, right? So they own it outright though, or it's an older person or a successful person that bought their house cash, whatever. They own it outright. They're sick of it. They don't want it no more. Yeah, okay, they'll sell it to you for a deal, but maybe they want a little bit more. So a creative way to get financing from that, which is going to beat the rates that the banks are lending at, is for the homeowner to hold their own mortgage as if they're the bank. So they're lending you, right? But there's no, like, and this is not, like, it goes off into a different conversation or a different topic, because, like, that money that's in your bank account or in your hand, it's fiat, right? It's not real, right? It's printed, and then when you pay it back, it's burnt, right? So a piece of real estate, if you hold a mortgage, like, that's actual equity. It's actually something, right? Like, back in the day, money was hedged against gold. It's not no more. So it's hedged against, like, real estate or a stock portfolio or life insurance plan or all kinds of things, right? Remember, I'm still always learning. I do this because in a book it said, teach people while you're learning, and that helps you learn, right? So yeah, it's to help and selfless, but it's selfish at the same time, which it all comes around full circle, right? So if you can negotiate with a homeowner that owns their property outright, say, okay, I'm gonna buy this place off you. I need 20% down like the bank would, right? So you want, no, let's make it easy, 25%. Maybe 25% down, what do you want for this? 400, right? You do your research, you see that's a deal. You're trying to pay 40, 50, 60 cents to the dollar. You could pay 70, yeah, right? Depending on if you're gonna do the work yourself, depending on a lot of factors, right? Like, it's not always a deal until you come up with a creative strategy to make it a deal, right? So I'll give you 25% down of your $400,000 house. So you get $100,000. The other 300, you hold the mortgage, right? So loan me the mortgage, right? The homeowner doesn't owe any money to the bank, so they're gonna pretend they're the bank and lend you the 300,000. So you've given them $100,000, right? And you can borrow that off somebody, right? Like to get this place, I didn't have no money. I just borrowed it off people. It's called OPM, other people's money. And it's what most of these people that own large portfolios of real estate, that's what they do, right? But some of us have really sick jobs that, you know, like, they make $150,000 a year salary, so they can go to the bank and the bank like, oh yeah, you can borrow money, but then it doesn't make so much sense right now because of the interest rates, right? So back to what I was saying. The vendor take-back mortgage, the homeowner, seller financing says, okay, you've given me 25% down, 100K, I'll hold the rest of this mortgage, right? Because they got 100K. They can go get what they're doing, do what they're doing. They're comfy, for sure. You know these people, the old-timers, they're content with less, right? So they're rich, right? They're content with less. The man who's content with less is the richest man, right? So 100K to them, they're like, sweet, man, I can do sweet with that. I can rent a sweet pad, or I can buy a sweet condo or a down payment on it, make my payments, right? And then whatever payments he's got on the condo, right? This is in your pitch, right? So sir, so now I owe you $300,000, and let's say you negotiate 3.5 interest rate, right? So you say to him something, and then what? For 5 years, okay? So not only are they gonna make more than 300, they're gonna make the compounding interest on top of that, but they're gonna live in the place that they've purchased probably close to free, or you're gonna help them pay for it because your payments for their house are going into their pocket, which helps them pay their rent. So all they've pretty much done, so right? That's a very, very creative strategy to do a deal for free marketing, a deal plus financing, right? 3.5, find me a bank that's only 3.5 right now. You can't, right? It's like, I didn't think like this 3 years ago, right? I thought, yo dog, I'm gonna get this next pack so I can go on, yo, gangsta. Like, yeah, I'll always be that guy 100%, right? But now I don't think gangster means somebody that's gonna do life because he's not gonna tell on his friend. I think gangster is a guy that puts food on the table for other people and then provides for his family. That's a G, right? A gangster is somebody that shows up for work and does hard work, right? Helps their team build a company so everybody can eat and people have places to live, right? Finds deals for flippers to have and renovators to have money to eat, and somebody has a nice home to move into, and a person that had the home in the first place, they got an exit out of a problem that they thought there was no solution to, right? So all these things are all wins that I count out of a situation, and how I found that was through real estate, right? And then the law of attraction and Think and Grow Rich state that when you find the secret to bring you happiness, you share it with other people for free. So that's what I'm doing. So I've been doing. So anyway, listen over what I said. You got any questions, comment, tell me about it, ask me some questions. If I know the question, I'll answer it, right? And then further than that, if I don't, I know somebody who does, and let me know. Trade day.